We're here at Solar Energy UK. We've just spoken with Richard Dreshin from Trina Solar regarding the performance of their modules in low light conditions. Richard, thanks very much for sparing us some time here at Solar Energy UK. Could you explain a little bit about the module that you have that's particular to low light conditions and what that really means for performance and yield?
Okay, well, it's a very interesting subject when you start looking at this, Mark, because I think that there's a perception within the industry that all modules are created equal, and of course they aren't. So what we actually need is a module that is specifically for the Northern Hemisphere and has the right characteristics. Now in our case, our answer to a low light irradiation and getting the best performance is to have, first of all, a mono cell, but also we texturize that cell. In our particular case, we call that the Honey M. And so if you put it under a microscope, it's not just a made-up name, it actually looks like a honey cell. And what it does, so when the light hits it, it absorbs a greater amount of the light. If you look at the spectral response, the greatest element of extra yield comes towards the end of the day. And that's really what you need. So if you're looking at either a residential installation or alternatively a commercial installation, you need to be looking for a product that is specifically aimed at those particular markets for the Northern Hemisphere.
With the low light conditions, does that mean you really have to optimize the system to make this perform properly?
Yeah, I mean, what's really important is that we run the numbers through PV Sol or PV Syst, because it's only when you put all of those elements and all of those criteria into the mix that you really start to see the difference. And I know that now, as the UK market is maturing, certainly on large scale where I'm heavily involved, you start to run the numbers and the difference in PR and yield is incredible. 10 to 15% greater if you specify, let's say, a 270 watt mono, and I'm talking about Trina modules here, it may be different for other manufacturers, but I know that if you, with our particular module versus a traditional 250 watt poly, the difference in actual yield is incredible, and it is really about, like I said, really doing your due diligence and then running the numbers through one of those software solutions. The actual inverter is not so critical actually. It depends on your overall solution. Our version is called Trina Smart. We work with Tego Electronics. The upshot of how that works is that you've got the Honey M mono module, and then on the back of that is a box of tricks from Tego, the optimizer, and that will actually work with 1,300 different manufacturers of inverter. So therefore, there is and of course, yes, those inverters will have their own characteristics, but if you again do your research, you can get a very cost-effective inverter to work very, very well with an optimized panel. It's taken us 2 years to develop, but it is exactly targeted and perfect for the commercial rooftops. We all know that the market conditions in the UK, driven by government moves, dropping off of rocks at the end of Q1 next year, for instance, is going to push towards a much larger deployment of commercial rooftop installations. The optimized panel is perfect for any kind of array where there's any element of shading, and indeed you get additional aspects of safety, switching off for fire regulations, etc.